Coastal wetlands and seagrass meadows sequester carbon at a rate far exceeding that of typical terrestrial forests. But when these environments degrade, that sequestration mechanism reverses. The ecosystem transitions from a massive carbon sink to an active emission source. Measuring exactly how much carbon is stored or emitted in a dynamic submerged environment is difficult. You have to quantify what has been removed from the atmosphere, underwater, while the tide consumes stillis. This is why Verra developed VM0033. It serves as the globally accepted algorithmic rulebook for tidal wetland and seagrass restoration. Its objective is to convert complex ecological interventions on the coast into verifiable net greenhouse gas emission reductions. To do this, the methodology tracks 3 exact greenhouse gases: carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. It also mandates the measurement of 5 distinct carbon pools across the project area: above-ground biomass, below-ground biomass, dead wood, litter, and soil organic carbon. The restoration activities that qualify under VM0033 fall into 3 operational categories: hydrological management, sediment management, and vegetation management. These definitions establish the exact parameters of the project. They define the boundaries of what a third-party validation and verification body will ultimately audit in the field. By enforcing these parameters, VM0033 grounds carbon market credits in audited biogeochemical changes. Every VM0033 project begins by defining its baseline scenario. This is the precise ecological trajectory the wetland would follow if the restoration project never occurred. In degraded coastal areas, this baseline is rarely static. It typically contains active emission leaks from dying vegetation and oxidizing soils that must be quantified. Establishing the baseline is set, the project must prove additionality, governed by the VMD0052 module. This module requires proof that the restoration activities rely on carbon finance to exist. Without the sale of carbon credits, the project would be financially unviable. The methodology also mandates the exclusion of displaceable land uses. The project area must be free of activities that, if stopped, would simply relocate and cause carbon leakage in a neighboring area. Establishing this baseline and financial dependency proves the project altered the ecosystem's trajectory, rather than inheriting natural improvements. Next, the project area undergoes geographic stratification, the process of dividing the landscape into homogeneous zones based on physical traits like elevation or soil type. In wet ecosystems, methane presents a difficult accounting challenge. Anaerobic decomposition in submerged soils produces methane, which is a potent greenhouse gas. To solve this, VM0033 enforces a requirement known as salinity stratification. This chart plots methane emissions against salinity. Seawater sulfate inhibits methogenic bacteria. Therefore, developers must track salinity low points during peak summer emission seasons. As hydrological interventions restore saltwater tidal flow, the corresponding methane emission calculations for that zone are reduced. If direct measurement of these fluctuations isn't viable, VM0033 allows the use of conservative default emission factors to avoid overestimation. This dynamic chemical tracking is more complex than the static area mapping typically used in terrestrial forestry. Accurate blue carbon accounting relies on this temporal tracking of water chemistry. It shows that a hectare of flooded land near the ocean has a different climate impact than a hectare further inland. This brings us to a core accounting paradox. Coastal soils hold massive amounts of carbon, but these finite stocks naturally deplete in a degrading environment. There is a risk of crediting a restoration project for preserving carbon that the ocean would have eventually eroded or oxidized anyway. This visualizes peat and soil organic carbon depletion time. A descending curve tracks natural baseline carbon depletion over a century until reaching zero. A higher project curve maps the retained carbon. Crucially, creditable carbon caps out exactly where the baseline hits zero. To maintain accuracy as sea levels and temperature shift, the methodology requires developers to recalculate the peat depletion time every 10 years. These temporal boundaries prevent overcrediting, protecting the integrity of the carbon asset. But executing these rules is an operational challenge. VM0033 contains roughly 130 pages of biogeochemical mathematics. Managing this manually through spreadsheets leads to errors and friction during the auditing process. This split screen shows methodology digitization via the Hedera Guardian platform. On the left, the academic text of VM0033. On the right, its structured JSON schema. The static PDF is converted into an executable digital policy, the VM0033.policy.json file. Ecological field data is ingested through structured digital schemas, like the PDD schema template. Once ingested, the data runs through custom logic blocks, the ercalculations.js file, which execute the emission reduction algorithms. External tools, like ARTool14 for estimating biomass, are integrated directly into the primary policy architecture. Digitization removes manual arithmetic errors. It transforms a static rulebook into a computable digital protocol. We can now trace the final output from the Hedera Guardian policy engine. This data file is the final digital artifact, the verifiable credential. This JSON file contains the finalized net emission reduction data, secured with cryptographic signatures. We have moved from mapping physical salinity and soil depletion in a wetland to a verifiable digital architecture. VM0033 provides the scientific framework for the wetlands data, while the digital platform creates a cryptographic record of its execution. High-integrity carbon markets depend on this synthesis, field methodologies that are scientifically rigorous, and digital protocols that are fully computable.